The electoral race for mayor in some Polish cities is still ongoing. On Wednesday, a debate was held between candidates for mayor of Elbląg, Andrzej Śliwka of Law and Justice, and Michał Misan of the Civic Platform, during which the politicians answered questions from residents. One of the questions concerned migration policy. Civic Platform candidate announces openness and declares that if he takes over as mayor, Elbląg will accommodate migrants. Migration policy is a state policy. I will remind you that when the war broke out, all Ukrainians who applied to Elbląg, we helped all of them. We will act similarly in this case. If there are people who need help, then as a mayor, my empathy will not allow me to not help them. Other politicians from Donald Tusk's party think similarly to Michał Misan. If we need to take in a few thousand migrants, we should certainly do so. We are a strong and rich enough country that we should do it. If we are in the European Union, we should adopt the mechanisms that prevail in the European Union, including the solidarity mechanism. If we don't want to accept migrants, we have to pay compensation. The announcements by Civic Platform MPs seem to be somewhat at odds with the current declarations by Prime Minister Donald Tusk. Poland will not accept illegal migrants under any such mechanism. Such words from the Prime Minister's mouth may come as a surprise to some, since 7 years ago, as then head of the European Council, he criticized Law and Justice's migration policy and called on EU leaders to show solidarity. I call on all leaders of European countries to once again step up their actions when it comes to solidarity with countries facing an unprecedented wave of migration. I call for accepting more refugees. This is not the only one, but it is an important gesture of solidarity. A fair distribution of at least 100,000 refugees distributed among the countries of the European Union is what we actually need to do today. 2 years ago, during the hybrid attack on the Polish-Belarusian border, he said this about illegal migrants. These are poor people who are looking for their place on earth, and there is no need to make grim, disgusting propaganda targeting migrants, because these are people who need help. What is the reason for Donald Tusk's volatility, and what do politicians from other parties think about taking in migrants in the name of mandatory solidarity? However, the majority of Poles do not want this legal migration. As a result, Prime Minister Donald Tusk is changing his mind in front of the public. After all, in 2015, it was under the inspiration of Prime Minister Tusk, who was the head of the European Council at the time, that this first consent was expressed by Prime Minister Ewa Kopacz. I don't imagine such a situation that we should accept refugees from other countries, because we are a border country of the European Union and we are under migratory pressure all the time. So this is our task, and we can't accept problems from other countries because we support the European Union in this regard and fight to protect this border, which is in the east. The topic of the compulsory, solidarity-based admission of migrants, including illegal ones, by all European Union countries has returned to politics and the media in connection with the pact adopted at the European Parliament meeting. Growing discontent across Europe and social tensions seem to be ignored by Brussels. The question is whether it will also be ignored that in Poland we now have more than 1 million refugees from Ukraine, and will we also have to take in migrants? Natalia Rzeźniczak, TV Republika.